As a new parent, one may wonder what is happening to the brain of their embryo. In utero, for the first 4 weeks, the nervous system begins to develop by first forming a neural plate. This neural plate then further develops into the neural groove, which further develops into the neural tube. The neural tube at this point begins to represent the spinal cord of a fully developed child, although the structure is far from being complete. The neural tube then differentiates into the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain, as well as the spinal cord. These differentiated structures are responsible for functions that run from the most complex operations at the forebrain, less complex operations in the midbrain, and very basic functions at the hindbrain. The spinal cord can be thought of as a wiring loom in a vehicle. It carries all of the motor neuron information as well as the sensory neuron information. This is the pathway between the brain and the body. Weeks 4 to 8 spark with activity, going through many variations of both neural structures and other developmental structures. The two hemispheres of the brain develop during this period in a process known as neurogenesis. This is where new nerve cells travel along glial cell fibers to the outermost part of the brain. Early nerve cells travel very short distances, while later nerve cells travel farther distances. After migration, these new neurons begin to form structures called axons and dendrites. Axons are responsible for transmitting signals from a neuron, while dendrites are responsible for receiving information. Axons from one neuron attach to dendrites of other neurons and relay signals across the synaptic cleft via chemical signals called neurotransmitters. It is important to note that the synaptic cleft is formed between two synapses, or connections, of neurons. The synapses are not physically connected, but are in very close proximity. Between weeks 8 and 26, the cerebral cortex shifts to cover the midbrain and sits at the most superior portion of the brain. At week 28, the cerebral cortex is rapidly growing in size and volume because of new neuronal formation. This is when both gyri and sulci begin to form, which are the hills and valley structures of the brain. This operation continues up until week 40 of development. The purpose of gyri and sulci are to increase the surface area of the brain, allowing for flexibility and many new neural connections to form. To go over a brief overview of everything we just talked about, there is a lot of activity in brain development in the first 3 years of a child's life.